So what are you doing? Oh, look at you standing up, boo-boo. How you doing? Oh, I didn't tell you to come over here. Hey guys, it's your girl Me-Anie, and this is a really, oh, let me mute this one. Mute. There we go. Impromptu video. This is going to be part of the little series that I'm going to start for you guys. Basics about makeup. Some of you have been asking me to kind of share what I do as far as makeup and asking for it, and ignore all my stuff. You guys know what I'm doing right now, packing. Get set up. I'm sorry, I had everything planned to get set up, but then I just walked Siler, took him outside, and my neighbor was outside with his dog. Lives 2 doors over, and his dog just like ran in my house up the steps, just standing there at the top of my steps looking in my house. And Kata is a big girl, so she was kind of big, and I had Siler in my hand the whole time, and he got so excited he started like peeing inside, and then by the time I noticed, like I felt it like splatting on my feet. So all that kind of took up my prepping time. But either way, I'm doing a little series called Basic Beat, and this is going to be the first set of videos. This video is going to be talking about brushes. Now, since you guys want me to do tutorials, I am going to venture back into that, but the way that I'm going to do it is not going to be the same as I used to. I'm not going to be recording videos, editing, and putting them up. Rather, I will be doing them live. That way you guys are able to ask me questions as I'm doing my basic makeup. Once again, I am not a guru. I do not consider myself a guru. You will not see all this contouring, all that other stuff. I will not be doing. I'm just going to show you the stuff that I do, and that's what you asked for. So let's see who is in here so far. Okay, I have my YouTube window open if anyone is in here and want to say anything or ask any questions. I'm going to give you guys like maybe another couple minutes because this was kind of last minute. Worst case scenario, you guys can go back and watch it at the end. Well, from the beginning, I should say. All right, so in this, I'm going to be talking about the kind of brushes that I use. I'll show you guys what they look like, how much I spent on them, where I purchased them, the functions of these brushes, because a lot of the times we'll go out and buy brushes because, you know, we want to play in makeup and we don't exactly know how to use them. So I'm going to be talking about the brands and everything of that kind. Also showing you different kinds of like foundation brushes and stuff like that. So the brand of brushes that I use, and I've been using this brand for as long as I can remember, probably when I first started my locks about 7 years ago, I've been using the brand e.l.f. That's Eyes, Lip, Face. Eyes, Lip, Face. Hi, Natasha. You are like faithful. Yes. She said, got my brushes out. Okay, good. I can see her over there. If you have any questions, you didn't miss anything as yet. If you have any questions, definitely ask me as I'm going through. Now, like I was saying, Eyes, Lip, Face. I used to find this brand in a store called Pay Half back in Philly. And they always had a sale where you buy 2 get 1 free or something like that. And then when I moved here to Florida, I realized you can find it in Target. So you can find the e.l.f. brand in Target. They have like their own little section. I love e.l.f. It's very inexpensive. The brushes range from $1 for, my brushes are kind of old because I've had them for quite some time. These brushes, the opal ones, these are their basic brushes. They range from $1. And then they have the professional line, which is sleek and black, and these are only $3. They also have they have foundation. They have like a whole makeup line, eyeshadows, blushes, eyeliner, stuff like that. So let me start out with some of the brushes that I first acquired when I got my you know, my whole makeup gig going. So this brush right here, this is a foundation brush. I don't use this anymore because I don't use this kind of foundation. I don't use the kind of foundation for this. This is a foundation brush from e.l.f. This brush you can get for $1. And this is really good with if you have kind of like a cream or liquid foundation. That's what this is good for. I used this when I used to have, what was it? MAC. I think it was like Studio Fix or Studio Type. I don't use MAC. I really don't use MAC at all. Whichever one is a cream that comes in like that little pod. This is what I used to use with that type of foundation. Now, the downside to that is it leaves streaks. When you use this brush and you're putting on your foundation, when you go to take a picture, especially if it's a high definition camera or if you use your flash, you'll see streaks, so your makeup does not go on evenly. So since then, I do not use this brush anymore. If you guys see this brush, I mean, you can always test it for yourself, but if you see this brush, that's what this is good for. I've never tried it with a dry, like, you know, a powder or anything, because it's like a bristle brush where you just want to apply the foundation, you know, in like a streaking motion. And I didn't like it that much once I realized that I had a lot of streaks going on. You take your picture, you think you look cute because you don't have a flash. And then once you put that flash on, you know, taking the picture, you have streaks and it just messes everything up. One thing I will say as a good measurement to see if your foundation is done in the right way, whenever you're finished, take a picture of yourself with a flash, and that's going to tell you, especially if you're going out, that's going to give you a heads up on if your makeup is on evenly, if you missed anything around here, because sometimes people don't take the makeup up to their hairline, and then you have like this oval where like your actual complexion is showing, and then you have all the makeup in here. So this is not a brush that I use anymore, but it was one of my first foundation brushes. This is one of, I think this one, yeah, this is a bronzing brush. I used this for when I was putting on, what is it called? What's this stuff called? Oh, I can't get it out. What can I, they call it rouge. What is it called? I'm having a brain fart right now. Blush. When you're putting on blush or bronzer, that's what you use this brush for. This one I don't really use anymore because I upgraded and I found a new brush. So if you have this brush, it's really good for bronzer or even blush, but the bristles aren't as good as the next brush that I'm about to show you guys. I've since upgraded to this brush from the e.l.f. Black. This is the what is it called? Professional line, $3. This is such a good brush when it comes to blush. It is so freaking soft. I love, like, anytime, like right now you can kind of see, no, I don't have blush on. Yesterday when you saw like I had a kind of purple shade right here, this is the brush that I use for my blush. Now what I love about the e.l.f. line, and I didn't say this before in this video anyway, when you purchase e.l.f., if you go in and you do not know what the brushes are for, they tell you on the back of the case. And if you ever purchase an e.l.f. brush, look on the back. It's going to give you a brief description of what the brush is used for. So that's a really good thing, because I don't think there are too many other brands out there that tell you what to use the brush for or how to use it. They're just going to tell you, you know, what the brush is, or they might have like a code. I think like MAC has like a C this or whatever. When you watch tutorials, you'll hear people calling out like, I'm using my C29 from Sigma or MAC or whatever, and then you're like, okay, well, what kind of brush is that? What is it used for? But they tell you what the brush is. Like right here, it says e.l.f. I'm not using my new camera. It says e.l.f. and then it says blush brush. And on the back of the package, it gives you a little description of what the brush is and how to use it. The next brush that I absolutely love from e.l.f. is going to be my stippling brush. This one was also $3. I use this with my liquid makeup. When I put makeup on, it's a liquid. And the way you use a stippling brush is you just dab it into the foundation and you lightly dab it onto your skin. Sometimes you can do a circular motion just to get your entire face covered. It's called stippling. That's the technique that you use. Basically, when you put your makeup on like this, you dab it into the foundation and then you start dabbing like this. It's kind of like imagine the TV when you're even the screen that I'm looking at right now. When a TV is running, is everything is really pixelated. So when you zoom in, if you were to zoom in really, really close, you're going to have like all these little dots. And then when you zoom out, that those dots, they kind of form like a bigger picture. And that's what you're doing with this. You're making all these little dots on your face, and they're connecting as you go around and around, and then it just forms the entire canvas. What stippling does is it basically allows you to put your foundation on, and it's buildable when you do it like this, and you do not have any streaks, which is much better compared to using this for liquid application. So since then, I've upgraded from this type of foundation brush to a stippling brush from e.l.f., and this is my favorite go-to. There's also one from, I bought it from, what is it called? I can't remember the name, but I definitely did a review on it. Sonia Kashuk. I think that brush was probably $14 or either $14 or $17 when I purchased it. It's a much wider brush. The bristles, the circumference of the bristles is much bigger. Does the same job, but it does it quicker. And I like the smaller brush because it's really compact, and it just makes me feel like I'm paying more attention to what I'm doing. What I did not like about the other brush by Sonia Kashuk, it sheds a lot when you wash that brush. I've washed that brush quite a few times, and every time I wash it, when I go to dry it out or when I'm swishing it around in the water to get it clean, a lot of the bristles come out. This, I do not have a problem with the bristles coming out. They're in here very secure, and I've washed this brush quite a few times. I've had it for over a year now, and I do not have a problem with bristles coming out at all. Someone said, I understand the concept of stippling, but it seems to take so long. Actually, stippling does not really take that long. If you want a good finish, it's well worth it, because I will say, and I will say, like, this leaves streaks. I can't even tell you how many times I went out with my makeup put on with one of these brushes, and I go to take pictures, and then when I look back at the pictures, my pictures are basically ruined, and I'm like, no, don't share that picture, don't post it, because, you know, like, my makeup is horrible. Yeah, this one, I love this one because I personally do not put on a lot of makeup. If people are putting on a lot of makeup and they're doing like layers and layers and layers, then this might not be the brush for you. When you go from big brush to small brush, some days you might want to use a big brush because you want, you know, just light coverage, or some days you want to do light coverage with a small brush. I don't put on a lot of makeup to begin with, so for me this is nothing, because I don't cover my face at all with foundation, my entire face, I don't. But I can definitely understand where someone might think that, you know, using a stippling brush can be time consuming. It's just really about your technique, how fast you're able to do it, how much coverage you're going for, and then the size of your brush. So Sonia Kashuk might be a better brush for you. I don't have that here because I don't use it. It's actually, do you guys mind if I go grab that? I'd rather show you. Watch out, Sai. I'll be really quick. Sorry. Watch out, buddy. Ouch. Okay, so my Sonia Kashuk stippling brush, this is the one that I have. This is it right here. You can even see the fibers. Can you see this? I have fibers just sitting here, like, coming out of this already. Yeah, so this is the Sonia Kashuk, and you can see the difference in the size. And as you switch from brush to brush, like, you can see already, this is covering a lot more of your face compared to this one. But it just depends on what kind of feel you're going for that day. If you want to apply your makeup light and easy, or you want to spend a little bit more time on it. Another brush that I have for my concealer or my foundation, I'll flip in between the two, is this brush. I really love this brush. I can't even remember what brand it is because it does not say. It's definitely not e.l.f. because e.l.f. is kind of etched into it. But I love this for putting on my concealer. I use I use a cream concealer. I actually put it into this container because the container I purchase it in, it always cracks the lid. So I use like a cream concealer, and this is what I'll use. I used to use it going under my eyes, but since then I found like a better brush. The brush that I traded that one in for is this one, and I love it. It's from e.l.f. as well. And this is called the Flawless Concealer Brush, and it really is flawless. This I use for, the only place that I really use concealer would be under my eyes and if I have blemishes on my cheeks. But under my eyes, I'll put my concealer on and I just buff this. This is such a light brush, you can buff with no problem, and it's not going to affect, you know, under your eyes, because a lot of people always tell you, make sure when you're putting anything under your eyes that you're doing it nice and delicate, because the skin under your eyes is much softer than, you know, the skin on your face, your cheeks, your hands, anything like that. But this is my favorite one for concealer. When I put on my concealer, I use this, and then sometimes I'll drag my concealer on my face because I don't use foundation, and this is exactly what I use. Once again, this one you can find at Target for $3. One of my favorite brushes when it comes to putting on concealer. This is a fan brush, and I use this one for when I'm doing my bronzer. Sometimes you guys will see like my cheeks get a little bit glowy right here. I use this really lightly. I'll just dust my fan brush in my bronzer, and then lightly I'll just put it on my skin like this, and I'll just bring it right around here, kind of like in a C motion. So you see right here where the light is kind of shining on my face? Right there, that's where I would put my bronzer or my highlighter, and I'll just go like this really lightly and put it on my face. This is also good for if you have if you're using like mineral eyeshadow and you have fallout, and you just smear it off really light, because as you start using loose not foundation, but loose eyeshadows, it always falls out. It falls from, you know, where you're applying it onto your face, which kind of sucks if you already put your concealer on, because if you try to sweep it off with your finger or a brush that is not as delicate as this, is going to smear on your face. So that's where this brush will come in and kind of like sweep all that product away without dragging it onto your face. The next brush that I have, these two brushes, they're made for different things, but I use these to deposit color into my crease, and that'll be right here. This one is an eyeshadow brush. It's called the C brush for eyeshadow, and this brush is a contouring brush. Now, all I do, as you can see, I have a little bit of purple on here. Anytime I do kind of like a crease, a cut crease or something, I'll use that for my darker color, just because this fits perfectly in this little area. Ooh, I'm putting it on. It fits perfectly right here. So this is what I would use to just deposit a dark color when I want to do like a, there we go. See? Just put it in there. I like this one because it grabs a lot of the eyeshadow. If you're using a baked color, you know, not the loose one, the ones that are kind of like pressed, this grabs a lot of the foundation, I keep saying foundation. This grabs a lot of the product, and you can really pack it in without having to like reapply over and over. Same thing with this one. If I want a color that I don't want to spread all over, I'll use this one and go deeper into my crease, and it just goes on exactly where I want it to. From there, the next brush that I would use is going to be my blending brush. Blending brush is a must, no matter what brush you have. Out of all the brushes that I showed you here, the blending brush is the brush that you cannot, like, you can't swap out on this. This one was from the Opal line in e.l.f. and it's only $1. Now, the blending brush is the brush that makes your transition colors, like that's when you go from one color to a next, it softens up that harsh line that comes in between. Have you guys ever seen someone that's putting on makeup? Let's say they have two colors, like if they did, let's do Jamaican colors. If they did green and if they did yellow, you'll see like green, and then you'll see a really harsh line in between, and then yellow. So to kind of, I laugh at that all the time, because when you see it on people, it just looks really, it looks really bad, because there's no blending going on. It's just like you pack this one color on, and then right after it, you pack on the other color. But this is a brush that you'll use to soften that line up, and you just use it in a sweeping motion. You can, when you use it in a sweeping motion, it's called like the windshield, so back and forth. And then you can also use it in a circular motion. After you put your color in your crease, what you do is you blend it out with this. And it's gonna like pull the color up, but it'll softly transition from where you first applied it to kind of blend out. And it gives you kind of like a smoky look too. But that's what this is for. See how it looks right here? Like it's starting to, you can't really see that well. But compared to this one, it's a little bit softer. Once I get into the actual application of, you know, my foundation, you guys will understand more. But this is just showing you what the brushes are for and how you would use them. So this is your blending brush, and it's really just all about technique. This brush can change anything. This is like just the miracle brush of all the brushes. It changed any look. That's all you need. Once you put the makeup on, you have to blend. That's just the rule, okay? So the blending brush you can use in circular motions like this. You can do it in, or you can do it out, or you can do windshield wiping back and forth. And it just softens that whole color up. See, it kind of makes you look like you have a smoky look. Okay, so a couple brushes that we have left. When I apply my eyeshadow, this brush right here is my favorite one, because it's just a small eye shader. And this one I got from Ulta. This is not an e.l.f. brush. I got this from Ulta a few years ago when they were on sale. And I love this brush because you can use it with loose minerals, or you can use it with like the normal hard eyeshadow. And you can also use it wet. You can wet this to like apply loose shadow and kind of give it like a metallic finish. But what I really love about this brush, two things: it's really small, so it gives you the opportunity to kind of get into like the really small parts of your eye, like the inner part of your eye, and not make any mistakes. It gives you the opportunity to just really work with a lot of detail. And then on top of that, you can use this brush with two colors. So being that it has these two sides, you can use one color on this side, flip it over, and use another color. So most of the time when you see me with two different colors on my eyes, I'm able to achieve that with one brush, and it's this kind of brush, because I'll put like maybe the gold right here, and then I'll flip it over and I'll put the bronze on the other side, and I'm good to go. And then following that up, of course, I'll use my blending brush. The next brush that I have and I use on a daily basis, or whenever I do my eyebrows, is this one. I think that, yeah, this one is Ulta as well. This one is Ulta, and it's basically your slanted shader and eyeliner brush. And this is from the Ulta Professional line. Cannot remember how much this one cost. It might have been for like $4 or $6. I'm not absolutely sure, but this is like the best brush I've ever used when it comes to outlining your eyebrows with the concealer. This is what I use all the time when I go to outline. So I'll just put a little bit, and then I can't even see that well, but this is what gives me that really nice finish when it comes to my eyebrows. So I'll put this on. Forgive me if I can't see that well. But once I'm done, I just blend it down with this brush. Just pull it down lightly. And I do top and bottom, top and bottom. And this really allows you to get as close as you can to your eyebrow without putting any of the product on there. And it just gives you that really crisp line. When you guys see my eyebrows like looking on point or on fleek, as people have been saying, this is one of the tools that I use to get my eyebrows the way that they look. The next tool that I use, just basically a spoolie. This one came from a Maybelline eyeliner, but you can get a spoolie anywhere. Like, just get the spoolie tool. And I prefer this much more over one of these, the little brow and lash. I don't really like these. I used to use them a lot when it comes to like blending the color into your eyebrows after you outline them. But I like this one a lot more because it just allows me to really just comb in the eyeliner without messing it up and just giving it a really neat shape. The eyeliner that I use, the name came off, so let me see if I can find one for you. I don't know if they sell this anymore. I was lucky enough to have, I think it was Eccentric Diva. She sent me a crap load of these 2 summers ago. And I still have, like, I might be down to like my last 3. But this is the one that I use for my eyebrows. I do not use black because you shouldn't be using black on your eyebrows. You really should. You should not. This one is, what is it, Maybelline? Yeah, Maybelline Line Stylist. Can you guys see that? And the color is Espresso. I do not know if they make this anymore because it was really hard for me to find. But I love this because when it's time to apply and you turn the little stick for the color to come up, I don't know if you can see this. It just rolls up nice and easy. So it gives you like a flat area that you can kind of put this on without applying too much at one time. So you just want to do like light strokes. So that's what I like about this brush. Not this brush, this eyeliner. I absolutely love it. Being that the little point is so small, you can apply it nice and light and go harder if you need to, but you just want to do like really light strokes. See? So this is the eyeliner that I use, and when it comes to blending it after, I use this kind of spoolie. And then after that, I would use a slanted brush from Ulta to kind of outline it to make it look like I just got my eyebrows done. And from there, that's pretty much it when it comes down to like my eyebrows. But I went over all the brushes that I have and all the brushes that I use. Now, some of the other brushes that you guys might have, depending on the kind of makeup that you use, I'm going to point out one more brush. I don't know if you guys use a lot of mineral foundation, but this is like a buffer for like, what is it called? What's that Bare Minerals. If you use Bare Minerals, I don't know a lot of colored folk that use Bare Minerals, but this will be a buffer. You just basically, ooh, I don't like this on my skin because it irritates my skin. But this, you just dab it into the powder, the loose powder, and then you just like buff it onto your skin. Now, like I said, I don't know too many colored people that use mineral foundation, but if you do, this will be the kind of brush. This I don't use. I think this one might be goat hair. I'm not sure, but goat hair, the fiber like irritates my skin. So putting this, oh yeah, even putting it on my skin right now is kind of hard. It's really, really hard. Yep. Those are the only brushes that I really want to share with you guys. Those are the brushes that I use if I'm doing my makeup daily. I'll use all the brushes that I just showed you from my stippling brush, but I'll use the smaller one by e.l.f. So I have my stippling brush for my foundation. I have my blush brush from e.l.f. I'll use my fan brush for any kind of bronzer or highlighter. I have my blending brush. Now the blending brush, you want to get at least 2 or 3. And I say that because when you blend, you don't always wash these brushes right away. You can, you know, leave the color in there. You want to have one for a lighter color, and you also want to have one for a darker color. And the more you use them, the more fuzzy it'll become. When you first get your blending brush, these are all the same brushes, but they look differently. So you can kind of tell which one I use more. These are all the same brush, all of them. But this one is my favorite, the one that's more like worn is my favorite. But when they come, they look like this. So this one I'll use for like if I'm using a lighter color, my golds and my bronzes and stuff like that, I'll use that up here to kind of like transition so I don't have that harsh line. But when it comes down to a darker color like a purple or a black or a brown, I'll use a separate brush because I don't want to like accidentally use a dark color up here and kind of mess up the color scheme that I'm going for. So if you do get a blending brush, or when you do get a blending brush, make sure you get like maybe 2. I got 3 because I just did, but 1 or 2 blending brushes, definitely 2 will be good because of the colors that you're going to be using and where you're going to be blending. I don't know if you guys have any questions. Okay, Joanna said, hey girl. Yes, I made a video about that. They definitely discontinued it because I couldn't find it, and I had someone that was, yeah, you just came in when I said that. I had someone that was nice enough to purchase some for me from a flea market last year, and I'm down to like my last, I'm down to my last, one. I got one over there, 2, 3. I got 3 left. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to hit her up and see if she can find any more because I don't know what I'm gonna use after that, because this is the only color that's the right shade. It's not too dark. It's not too light. I love how the brush, how I keep saying brush. I love how the product actually comes out of the little tube. It's nice and flat, so it's pointy enough to the point where I can just apply it without overdoing it and having like really thick eyebrows, because that's not cute at all. What's the name? Yeah, the tool is, it's just called a spoolie. You can get these if you go to, they sell them in like little packs. They also come on eyeliners when you purchase them. You can get them if you go to a makeup store. They have them just sitting there because they'll use them to kind of do the eyebrows. So you can get them like at MAC randomly. You can get them at Sephora randomly. But you can definitely purchase them in like little packs. And it'll just be like a spoolie tip with a black body. And they're inexpensive. You can also get them at Walmart, Target, places like that. Do you guys have any other questions on the brush? Well, I'm talking about e.l.f. I'm going to tell you a couple more things that you can get from e.l.f. One more product that I absolutely love and adore from e.l.f., since we're on that brand. With eyeshadow, you need a primer. A primer is basically something that you put on before you put on your eyeshadow, and it stops it from creasing. If you ever put on your eyeshadow and then like a few hours later, you find that all the makeup is like running in your crease, and you have like a really thick line of eyeshadow right there because your eyelids get oily after a while, that's what the primer is going to prevent. So when it comes to primers, one of the top brands was UDPP, Urban Decay Primer Potion, and it comes in like a little purple. So I don't have it in this kit right here, but it comes in like a little purple container, and it's maybe like $16 or $17, but it lasts a really long time. Now this you can get from e.l.f. for $1, and it works the exact same way. I actually have 2 of them here. I was so excited about it that I just purchased 2 for no reason, but it's a really good product. It works the same way as the UDPP, so you can save yourself like $15 by just getting this one for $1. There are different brands out there. There are a lot more brands than they were before, but the main brands that I know of, Urban Decay Primer Potion, and this will be the next one that I suggest to you. So what I will say when it comes to brushes is all about knowing what the brush is for, and also the quality of the brush. Quality does not always go by the brand. When you start watching people on YouTube and you start shopping for makeup, a lot of people go to MAC or Sephora, Sigma, because you know those are the brands that everyone else is using, the gurus and stuff like that. But it does not necessarily mean that you have to spend that kind of money to get a good product. I've said it before, I can get MAC for a really inexpensive price, But just because I can get MAC does not mean that I have to go buy MAC brushes. The brushes that I use, I've had them for quite some time, and e.l.f. works just as well. The e.l.f. line, the Opal line is $1. The professional line, which is a black one, is $3. These brushes, all these cream ones, I've had for at least 7 years, and they've been washed plenty of times and they're still in really good shape. So they're $1 each. And back then I think I bought them buy two get one free. So $1 each, really inexpensive. I can't say cheap. Cheap means when it costs a little bit and it's no good. Inexpensive is when it's a good quality, but you don't have to pay a lot. And that's exactly what these are, these e.l.f. brushes. So I would say I would really recommend getting e.l.f. Sonia Kashuk, like this is a perfect example. Sonia Kashuk, that's a name that a lot of people know. But when you wash this brush, the fibers start coming out. So what good is a brush that is expensive, but the quality is no good? Another thing I will say when it comes to washing your brushes, that's something you want to do. You want to wash your brushes. You can wash your brushes on a weekly basis, depending on how often you use them, but you do want to wash your brushes. Now, for me, when I wash my brushes, I use, what is it called? I used to use it on my locks. Dr. Bonner's peppermint soap. I have a tutorial on here. If you guys look through my videos and look for a video how to wash your brushes or something like that, I show you exactly what I use and the method. It's a lot to wash your brushes sometimes because you have to sit there. I remember when I worked at Ulta, we had to spray the brush. Look, see? Can you guys see this? I'm not even, I'm not going crazy. Can you see that little bit of fiber right there? You see that? Like it keeps shedding. I washed this like a couple weeks ago because I was washing all my other brushes and it just keeps shedding. I remember when I used to work at Ulta, we had to clean the brushes because we're doing makeup every day. We're giving people testing stuff on them. So we had to clean the brushes. We would, you know, sit there, get the spray, we spray it on the brushes, and then we sit there and we go like this back and forth on a piece of napkin to get all the makeup out. Now you can do that, but I prefer, I just get a little container of water. I put some of the Dr. Bonner's peppermint soap in there. This stuff is so strong and active. Once you put it in there, you just start swishing it around. Now, you don't have to let a lot of water come all the way up here because when you do that, this is what's going to happen. Your brush is going to, oh, I probably shouldn't do that, but it's going to loosen up the glue around here. So all you really need is to put enough water in there to cover right around where the bristles are going to end. And you just swish it around. Now, when you're swishing it around, all the foundation and the eyeshadow that's in that brush is going to start to loosen up. This is what, when I wash this brush, it's going to look like this in the end. All the brown from my foundation is going to come out and it's going to be white again. Some brushes, when you wash them, if the solution isn't strong enough or you don't wash them, look, more fibers, you don't wash them well enough, you'll still have brown in there. This brush would be brown because I would use it with foundation, but this is the color it comes when you purchase it, and after you wash it with that solution, it comes back to this yellow color. So that's another way to tell if when you're washing your brushes, the solution that you're using, if it's a good product. All I do, like I said, I get a little container, a little glass container, put some water in there, put a little bit of that peppermint cleaner in there, and I swish it around, get the foundation out, then I rinse it, and I just lay it down on a towel to dry. You can do this once a week, depending on how often you use your brushes, depending on where, like how you store your brushes, and then on top of that, how sensitive your skin is. I know if I don't wash my brushes, and I go to put anything on, especially what am I thinking about? Eyeshadow, not eyeshadow, rouge, blush. If I go to put blush on and I don't wash my brushes, my cheeks are going to break out. And that's kind of what I had going on here because I didn't wear makeup in a long time. Then I went back and I was like, man, I should really wash my brushes. And I said, no, I'm just going to put a little bit of blush on today. And sure enough, by the end of the night when I was ready to take my makeup off, I kind of broke out on my cheeks. So clean your brushes. It might feel like it's going to be a task. but it's really worth it in the end. Also, at night, you want to make sure you take that makeup off. You don't want to sleep in your makeup. I know sometimes we go out, we look really cute, we come in, we're tired, we don't feel like washing it off, but all that makeup is going to sit and kind of clog your pores if you don't wash it off. When I take my makeup off, I use these little towelettes that I get from Walmart. It's the Equate brand. Comes in a green and white package. It's for sensitive skin. And I kind of just use that to wipe all my makeup off my face. And then from there, I'll use an everyday scrub to just make sure I get everything off of my face. I think that's pretty much everything that I have on brushes for now. So you guys kind of have the foundation. That's where you want to start. All the products that you have, like MAC foundation and all this stuff, is not going to matter if you don't have the right stuff to apply it with. So the next thing that we're going to get into is the actual product and the technique. The next video that I will be doing for you guys, I always start off with my eyebrows. So I think I might do an eyebrow tutorial showing you guys how exactly I do my eyebrows. My eyebrows are pretty, you know, decent to begin with, but I just like them to look a certain way, so I mess around with them a little bit. So that's going to be the next thing that we do. If you guys are following me on Instagram, that's where you will get the little notices, because a lot of the time I just, you know, come up with when I want to do the video. It might be 30 minutes in advance. It might be, I might as well take my makeup off now too. It might be 30 minutes in advance. It might be an hour or two in advance, but sometimes I just come on and I do the video without a lot of notice. But follow me on Instagram, and that's when you will definitely know when the next video is going to go up. Or you can just, you know, watch it in the end, just do the playback. So before I get out of here, do you guys have any questions that you need to be answered about brushes, or questions about my makeup before I go? Just pop them in and I will answer them before I go. Looks like you guys are doing okay. I hope I answered all your questions and anything else about makeup and brushes so far. I look forward to doing these videos for you guys. Let me see if anybody is saying anything on Instagram, because yes, on YouTube. Okay. All right. I don't think you guys have any questions, so I'm going to wrap this up. This was a really short video. Thank you, Lord. Let me refresh this really quick before I go, just to make sure I'm not missing anybody. I don't want to be rude. And mute. Cool. Oh, it's been 41 minutes. Wow, I didn't mean to take that long. All right, guys. See you guys maybe sometime this week. I start school on Monday, so I really don't know what my schedule is going to be like. I can't tell you guys, hey, I'm going to put out videos every Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, because I don't know what my schedule will be like as far as workload. I do have school Monday through Thursday until 2:30, and then after that, you know, it's just working. But I'm off on Friday and Saturday with no school. So we'll see what it's like. I'll let you guys know what it's hitting for. I'm going to call it a night, guys. Until next time, it's your girl, Me-Anie. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Next time, make sure you guys, if you have any questions, come with all your questions. I don't mind sitting down, answering them Q&A style. That's fine. You're not bothering me at all. So I'll talk to you guys later, okay? Good night. Hey, bud. He's so cute. I just want to lick his little face.